Hey, welcome back. So great to have you here. So today we're going to be talking about energetic boundaries. Now, what are energetic boundaries? So your boundaries are located physically in your body around the area of the diaphragm. So that's underneath your rib cage, above the belly. And this is your seat of personal power. This is your yes and your no. And when your boundaries are off or unclear, when this area is not strong, you're going to notice that in a number of ways. First of all, you could be feeling overwhelmed and anxious. So it might be in your office environment, on your way to work, on the metro, on the tube. You're going to feel like people are like in your space and you don't like it. You might be picking up the currents of stress. The second thing is you often might get sick. So when your energetic boundaries are off, you're much more susceptible to picking up the diseases that are going around. And the third thing is you can notice it really in your digestion. So people who have problems with digestion, with IBS, like with constipation, it's often down to them not having strong, clear energetic boundaries. And I've seen amazing results with people doing this meditation and changing their whole function of their gut based on this meditation. So you might have noticed we're all constantly on the phones, and this is why this topic of boundaries is so important and prominent in our society today. You know, a generation ago, it just didn't exist. Our boundaries were much more clearly defined between our home and our work, our love and our friendships, all of these things. We had our alone time. So now it's really up to you to kind of work out where you are with your boundaries and then have the skills and tools to really be able to reset them when you notice they're off. So often with people with weak energetic boundaries, you can respond in two ways. The first is you put up really strong barriers. So when you don't have boundaries, instead you're like, wow, you sense it, you don't feel safe, you don't feel secure in yourself. You put up these barriers, these strong walls, and this starts to have a real impact on your relationships, okay? You're not letting in the same love, or you're finding that you're in a lot of conflict scenarios with people around you because you're so hardline. Now, the opposite is that you don't have any boundaries at all. And then you're going to feel like you're constantly giving, overstretching yourself. And people might start to take advantage of it, and then you feel resentful and you don't want to do it anymore. And you don't feel like you're getting your worth, both in relationships and at work. So both of these are a good sign that it's time again to come back and working with the energetic boundaries. And this isn't something you can come back to later. You know how awkward it is when you haven't done or said what you wanted to, and then you have to go back to it. So by getting really clear, strong boundaries from your solar plexus, these kind of like challenges and problems are just going to get a whole lot easier. So what happened when I did this practice? So I did this practice a fair few years ago, and I was going through a challenging situation at work. So I was having a conflict with my boss. Our personalities were definitely not what they created. You know, we rubbed each other up the wrong way, let's say. And I was working as a creative, as a writer, as a freelancer, and I felt like I'd really I'd undersold myself, and I wanted to renegotiate my day rate. And we were working on a creative project. It was quite high stress, and every time I got into that meeting room with him, I would pick up on his energy and I'd get kind of scared and emotional. And what this would mean is that I wouldn't communicate kind of the brilliance of my ideas. I found it impossible to even think about asking for more money. And he would pick up on this, and we would have this drama that we would engage in. It wasn't pleasant for anyone. And instead of putting this blame on him, I actually was like, hey, listen, I'm just not really in my power here. I'm not in my strength. I'm feeling really weak. And I decided to do this meditation. And over the course of this 40-day practice that I did, I felt myself just get so much safer, so much more confident in myself. I felt so much more secure. And as a result, our relationship shifted. We were able to meet on a much more equal level. And at the same time, I was easily able to renegotiate. I actually doubled my rates. And by the end of that, I felt like I was being respected and seen for the creative, for the woman that I was, and that our project and our business, the work we were doing together, it really flowed a lot more clearly. So if you are a freelancer, if you're working in an environment where you feel you're not getting or you're not being respected in the way you need, I really recommend this meditation as something to kind of reset your own sense of personal power. And when you do, you're going to be able to approach the world with a lot more softness. So when you're really in your power, you don't need to be strong and hard in order to be a leader, in order to be in your power. You know, come from this place of softness and gentleness. And guess what? When you come from that place, you get that reflected back to you. You know, the law of attraction, when you come with compassion and softness, that's what comes back to you. And then your life is just going to feel a whole load nicer and much easier. So, many reasons. Are you ready to learn? In this next video, we're going to switch to explaining the technique of how you do this meditation, 11-minute meditation every day.